What's good? What's good, everybody? It's DSA Roundtable, and we are back. The Detroit Lions finally have a GM, and it wasn't who you wanted, but maybe it was who you needed. We gonna see. I got the panel with me. We gonna have a lot of people joining us throughout the show, but we gonna have a good time. I got Rachel Marie Sports with me in the building. How you doing, Miss Queen of the Den?
Good.
With
Good. I am so excited to talk about this hire with you guys tonight. It's been a hot minute since I've been on a show, so I've kind of been reeling a little bit at the end of the season, not even wanting to talk Lions football, but I'm excited today, so let's go.
Right, man. I got my resident subscriber in the building, man. Devin 99, man. What's good, man?
I'm great after this signing or hiring. I'm so happy with it.
All right, you know how I do, everybody. I'm gonna shout out the people in the chat, and then we gonna start the show. I see y'all very excited. We got Kyle Webb, Dolo Dynamite. What up, though? Troy Thibodeau, Rod Love 313, James Willis, One Pride 40, Nick in the building, Terry Starr in the building, Nicholas Valor in the building. What's good, everybody? What's good? Shout out to all the Lions fans in the chat, the Bread 313. I feel like we gonna have to see how this hire turns out, but it's better than what you think in some ways. But all right, first I'm gonna start off with you, Rachel. What's your initial thoughts to this hiring of Brad Holmes?
I mean, I'll be completely honest, I wasn't sure. I actually had to do my research to come to the conclusion that I do like the hiring. But to me, and I saw this on a show previously, it wasn't really about a name. It was about a thorough search, which I think they conducted, qualified help in that search, which they certainly reached out for. Barry Sanders, Chris Spielman, and bringing in the guy that after all that they thought could get the job done. They obviously thought it was Brad Holmes. And after I looked into it today, my initial thoughts being kind of unsure, I definitely do like it. And I know that we'll get into that in a little bit more detail as we go through the show.
All right. We got Broken Lion 69, Go Lions, Jordan Cartwright, Brian Farrell in the building, man. TBH in the building, JGB in the building. All right, Devin 99. What's your first initial thoughts of the Lions GM hiring the Brad Holmes? Now, like I said, off air, you the only person I know that wanted this guy before he was really even talked about. So I saw you talking about him, preaching about him. So plead your case, man. Have some fun with it, man. We got your guy.
Well, like you said before the show, you said it reminds you of Troy Weaver. I been thinking that because Troy Weaver is like he's a younger guy. I'm pretty sure he's around the same age, like 45 or something. But the knocks on him, obviously he's never been the guy. That's what everyone's gonna say. But that's the same thing with Troy Weaver. But they're both specialized in draft, and in Detroit, there's no other way to build a team but in the draft because we don't have a lot of cap space. One, and not a lot of people have Detroit on their, you know, like radar just because it's cold and we never won. So I think just one stat to throw out is he's drafted 25 Pro Bowlers since 2003. The Lions have drafted 8 since 2003. That's all. That's crazy to me. Only 8 since
That's
2003. That was before I was born.
huge.
Hey, y'all be blaming Stafford though. Oh man, that's hilarious right there. Now I was gonna name some of the players that he drafted. We got throughout the years, like what Tavon Austin, Alec Ogletree. Obviously, he had hands in Aaron Donald, Lamarcus Joyner, EJ Gaines, like Ty Gurley, Rob Havestein, Jared Goff. You know, whatever you want to say about that guy. Tyler Higbee, Farrell Cooper. I mean, he's still in the playoffs right now, so somehow because his
Yep.
defense is monstrous. Though his defense is the best defense in the league, but I mean that's a whole nother conversation. But let's see: Gerald Everett, Cooper Cup, John Johnson, Josh Reynolds. Like this guy has drafted a lot of players like not in the first round because they didn't have
Yeah,
any first round picks, but they're
that's
starters. Guys like Taylor Rappin, Daryl Henderson, and Cam Akers. Like these are guys that he's been picking up, and I'm
late.
like Rachel. I was very unsure about this hire. What'd you say?
Those are the best thing about those guys you named is most of them are late round guys. So
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I was very unsure about this because I really didn't know much about the guy. I started to hear his name a couple times with, some new guys like you were hearing about the Saints people and stuff. So, but once I did some research, and I'm like, you know what? And then mainly, I'm gonna tell you what really convinced me of this. It's probably the reaction from the NFL. Believe it or not, the NFL pulse is usually right about a lot of things. And like I was telling these guys off air, there were people that thought the Lions made a good decision with Bob Quinn, but not like Holmes. Like I was seeing people that I never would have thought give us compliments, because a lot of people think this is a good hire. This is one of the nice, bright young minds in that Rams organization, and I think he knows what he's doing. And the thing about him is he's getting hard hitters. Bob Quinn's biggest weakness, he couldn't draft no damn defensive players, and you were terrible in the second round. That's literally what he did bad at drafting. This guy gets hard hitters in the second in the late rounds that can help this team, and I think it's going to be a good hire for the Detroit Lions. And to me, this signals that the Lions are going in a different direction to get somebody that actually knows what they're doing and has the pulse a little bit more of what's going on in the NFL. But I got my man Speak Easy Sports in the building, man. What's good, man? What's good?
What up, though? What up, Devin, man? Nice to see you in here, man. What up, man? What's up, Rachel? How you guys doing, bro? I'm still covering a little bit. I don't know how I feel about this yet, man. I'm trying to fall somewhere in the middle. I want to be positive, but I've given this team the benefit of the doubt so many times throughout my lifetime and just been proven wrong. Like, I mean, just as you said, the pulse of the NFL. That was Matt Patricia. You know what I'm saying? Like, not even Bob Quinn. Like, Matt Patricia was the pulse of the NFL.
Not really. A lot of people did.
He was the genius. He was the guru. Like, I don't know I don't know how to feel, man.
A lot of people didn't like when we fired Jim Caldwell. If you really pay attention, like they didn't even like that. And
I think a lot of people were mad at Patricia because wasn't that right after they 40 in the Super Bowl?
Like a lot of people didn't like Patricia. You remember how they started off Patricia with that, those cases and stuff. They never really liked that guy.
I mean, that was here locally though, and here locally we were always kind of
toxic, especially after he left New York and didn't sign with New York. New York was like F you, Matt Patricia, and then that started it wasn't like this though.
No, Matt Patricia was the hottest name on the market at that time.
I don't know about that.
Absolutely was. Mike Vrabel was definitely up there too.
How about to say them other coaches was up there too. Even Shermer was up there, and he was garbage. What's your your initial for your first thoughts is you in the middle and you don't know? Okay,
I think where I'm at and the reason why I'll fully admit that I just wanted Ed Dodds more than like anything. I had my heart like set and like we were the fact that like we were the only teams to get the interview with them. This is a lot. I'm sure we'll get into it throughout the show. I apologize.
Well, I think they're both similar, to be honest.
Yeah. We're gonna get through it throughout the show. Now I got a lot of questions about the GM, so we gonna have some fun. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe to all of the channels. So we're gonna move on to the next question. It's simple, man. Get right to it. Do you think Brad Holmes was a good hire or a bad hire? Yeah, I'm putting everybody's feet to the fire right now. We going in. Even though he just got hired today, like this is what we do out here. But I'm gonna start with you, Rachel. Was it a good hire or a bad hire?
So, like I said, I had to do my research today on this hire. The complicated answer is always going to be that it's yet to be seen. We were kind of talking about this in the lobby before the show. Regardless of the name, regardless of the resume, there's always inherent risk in this business, in this type of hiring process. The experienced GM that built up another team and then came out of retirement and we take him could fail here too. I mean, that's always a possibility, but I'm kind of circling back around to my thoughts on Bob Quinn to answer this question as well, because in comparison, Quinn was the director of pro scouting as well. But when it came time to be the head decision maker in charge, he showed that he was just an above average drafter. I mean, let's be real. He had some hits. We can't take those away from him. It's not like he was really terrible at drafting, but he also had some misses, often reaching for players that he could have drafted in a later round. But how much of that was him and how much of that was him trying to cater to Matt Patricia's super specific system? I guess we're never really going to know, but my bet is that it's the latter. He hitched his wagon to the wrong head coach. I don't think that he was a terrible guy for the job. He just made a huge error in judgment in hiring a head coach that inevitably led to his downfall. And now we'll have to see if Holmes makes the same mistake or learns from his predecessor. He seems like a smart guy from all the research that I did today. So I'm going to hope that that's not likely, but only time will really tell. I think all Lions fans can do right now is take a look at his resume. Based on that, figure out whether or not they think he's going to be able to start building this team from the ground up, drafting the right players, and wish him the best of luck from there, because we all want this so bad. So complicated answer. I do like the hire. It's a scary thing, you never know how it's going to work out. So just because I like it, nobody hold me to it when they're like, I said I didn't like it and it didn't work out. But you can hold me to it if I end up right. And I won't say I told you so, but maybe a little bit.
Hands and therapeutic massage in Purple Paradise. Wow, that's the name. Holmes, director of college scouting, full control of the draft board. Big difference from Quinn's resume. Yeah, he has a better resume. And my thing with Holmes, I think, we just having fun right now, y'all. Like, because he hasn't even told us his philosophy yet. He hasn't done his press conference. He hasn't even begun to draft. He hasn't begun to establish anything yet. But I do think it was a good hire, because I think it's about, if you look, I'm impressed with Sheila and the way that they went after this. They took a lot of effort, and they put a lot of effort into this, and they added, Chris Billman and Barry Sanders and anybody who knew anything about football to this organization that helped them pick the right guy. And out of all of the people that they interview, if this is the guy that they come up with, I'm going to assume he's at least a good hire when I go back and look at his resume. I already named you some of the people that he drafted in the later rounds or had implement or a major part in drafting already. So he's at least shown that he can do that. And this is what we're going to have to hang his hat on. We're going to probably judge him by drafting more than anything. And we got to see what he does in free agency. But I think this was a solid hire, because Lions fans, like I said, man, we're not going to get what we want no more. We wanted Patricia, and we wanted this coach, and we want that coach, and we want this year, we wanted this GM, and we wanted that GM, and we still want this coach, and we want that coach. It's not gonna matter. Sheila is about to go get the person that she thinks is the best person for the job to lead this organization into a better place. And this is the guy that they came up with. And when I look at what he's done with the draft picks that he had a part in, and I look at the way that the NFL responded to him being signed, it was almost like they were surprised that we did something good in their eyes. I'm not saying that they're right, because a lot of times they're wrong, but it's just something to look at. And when you add this guy to the team, we just gonna have to see what he can do. But I think the effort that Sheila put in is gonna give out good dividends, man. We got Luke G's field review in the building. What's good, man?
Man, what's going on? This is the longest day ever, and I need some sports to talk about, because I just had a moment that was finna be real boondockish. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh no!
That's all I'm gonna say. It was one of the moments.
I'm sure we gonna hear about it later on.
Man,
But, all right, speak easy, man. We gonna go to you, since you was really iffy about the hire. Just your first thoughts. Like I said, we ain't seen this man do anything yet, so we can't really judge him too harshly or positively. We got to see him do some things, but good or bad hire, man, regardless of your biases.
I would really consider them biases. I just think you have to look at the trend of like the Detroit Lions and like our history. We haven't really been a great franchise if we're keeping it real. You know what I'm saying? So like, when we make a hire like this, the confidence just isn't there for me. I hate that it's that way, and I don't want it to be that way. But unfortunately, I mean, that's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? The last time that we had the right hire, it was the absolute wrong thing. I'm the wrong hire. And I stayed positive with him. You know what I'm saying? I gave them the benefit of the doubt all the way through. I was one of the guys who, I said, let Patricia establish his culture and whatnot. And I'm going to give this guy a chance too, man. I'm definitely going to give him his fair share. But like, if you ask me if I'm happy about the hire, no, I'm not. But again, I may just be picky because I wanted another guy.
I mean, I ain't asking if you was happy about it. Clearly, I
Yeah, yeah. Do I think it's a good hire or a bad hire? I mean,
like if
shit,
you ain't
man.
happy about it, call it a
You
bad
can't.
hire. Then you want to jump out on that limb,
Yeah.
you can do that. But like that's a
No, that's what I mean.
how
Yeah,
you
I'm
feel
getting there
about
too,
it.
man. Like I think it's a bad hire. I'm gonna say I hate saying that because that sounds it's ridiculous to even say right now because it's at some point like we haven't seen what he's done yet. It's kind of silly to speak on, but I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm just gonna say it's a bad hire. I think there was a better candidate out of there, and I think I just wanted some more experience out of this GM search.
Um, the caveat is, he hasn't done anything yet. We're just having fun. This is a thought exercise. But I will say that the Lions never get the best candidate, so you should have never thought we was gonna get who you wanted. But all right, look, I'm just serious. They never do. Like if it's the best guy for the job or woman or whoever, we don't ever get it in any sport, no matter what. So that's just how it is. But all right, Luke, man, what's your thought on the whole Brad Holmes and him coming to the Detroit Lions? Do you think it was a good hire, bad hire, thought exercise? Just going in.
Well, listen, without even it being a thought exercise, man, I just look at it like this. This is a hire that I think most fans should be optimistic about. So for me, I'm okay with it. And there's a number of reasons. And the first thing I did was I decided to go through and look at what this hire means. So let's just kind of review. First things first. Does he have the experience that they talked about? Nope. So they did a very good job with their poker face. Bravo to them. Nobody knew they was going to do. Nobody saw this hire coming. I get it. And I know that the history says that this kind of hire coming doesn't work. But here's why I think this hire will work. One, he's young. He's one of three African American general managers. And I know for a fact that he's going to take an extra care to get things right because he knows that could cement his legacy. Two, he's already been scouting for the Rams. So guess what? We needed somebody who came in already prepared for this draft because they're not going to get a person who's going to come in fully engaged and ready to go. Three, I've told people already that the director of player personnel is the one who do it, but he's the director of college scouting, which means that he's already in the trenches of what's going on college talent. That's a plus and a positive in itself. On top of that, you got to look at the simple fact that he's young, and so his way of connecting with the players is going to be totally different. His approach to the players is going to be totally different. Now, make no mistake, the cons are simple. Yeah, no experience, obviously, but the positives outweigh the cons. Another one, another positive that I jumped on immediately when I looked at the hire was, hey, what he said in previous interviews. And one interview he had with Yahoo, and when they asked him, how did he go about doing this draft, he goes by film first. The moment I heard that, I was sold. Lock and load, put me in the barrel, shoot me. I'm with this guy with that alone. When they asked him, well, what does the film show you that the other stuff don't show you? He said, well, the other stuff is just added information. He said, but nothing outweighs what the film tell me. He said, this is why when I saw talent like Aaron Donald and Cooper Kupp and Tavon Austin, he said, I didn't care about those numbers as much as what the film showed me. Are they talented and playmakers first? So that tells me that he's going with talent over everything else. So to me, it's a hire that you should be happy about. And it's a hire that, yes, you should be concerned about. But I think you should be more optimistic. We dealt with Bob Quinn. As
Yeah.
as Easy just said, he was optimistic for Matt Patricia. It can't get worse than that. It just
Like
can't.
I said, we not about to get the person that you wanted. I can't act like I'm not happy that a black GM got another opportunity and it happens to be with my team for the second time. The last black GM didn't work out. We ain't gonna talk about him. But
And
hopefully this is much better.
Can I add something to what Luke said too about you said that he was film first, but something that I read earlier today, I want to say it was in Dave Burkett's piece on him, was that people kind of give him props not only for being able to pinpoint talent and find that talent later in the draft, but people around him are saying it's not just the film and things like that he's looking at. It's mindset. He's asking questions like, do you think this guy has the mindset that it takes to be insert position in the league here. I mean, he's going above and beyond the product that they're putting out onto the field to what kind of person they are. Can their character handle this kind of pressure? I found that pretty impressive.
I agree. If you just look at the like for example, like I've been doing some research, so it's kind of been confusing. Like one of the cons is, yeah, we got this guy, but the Rams get 2 picks for signing him. We don't get the picks. I thought I was wrong, but I had to look at it again. I read the rule. The team that hires them can get compensation picks, but it's not like the direct draft. The team who groomed them is supposed to get the picks, from what I read. Could have read it wrong. But his ability to identify talent first, using it that to say that I won't like, because one of the things with Aaron Donald was he was like a mean person. He okay with a bad guy. Anybody who's okay with a bad guy, I'm okay with them.
Did you just say he was a mean person? He's a football player.
They dude, the report. Listen,
he's a mean.
They said that he was a mean. The reports were that he was a mean person. And I was like, what? Who cares? Like that's like saying Tyson is a very mean. He's meant to be mean. Punch him in the face and keep going. I don't understand.
Just one position that deserves a pass from me. You can be mean for the rest of your life. D-line is one of those positions. Like you're a D-lineman, bro. Like why do I care about your person? Not like what? He too nice. I want him nice and fluffy so he can touch the quarterback and play patty cake. Like
that was the difference between Gerald McCoy, which the Lions wanted. I swear, when Sue and McCoy was coming, everybody was talking about some, man, you can't get Sue. Sue gonna get all these penalties. Sue this. I said he better than Gerald McCoy. Man, Gerald McCoy, he got the speed. Yep, that worked out great. I mean,
all right. Look, Devin, I know how you feel about this. Any comments about the hire before we move on?
Well, like pretty much all you guys said is realistically, we don't know if it was the right hire right now because he hasn't done nothing. Like he hasn't even had his introductory press conference, but just basing it off of what he has done and what people have said about him that know him and are close to him, it's all good things.
Okay, all right.
Can I point something out really quick? I want to put this out there because I see this in the chat. He is nothing like Ozzie Newsome. I'm gonna say this again. He is nothing like Ozzie Newsome. They resumes don't even add up. Ozzie had already been in the exec with the Cleveland Browns before they moved over to become Baltimore Ravens, and he stayed on as an exec. Before that, he had previous front office experience. This guy didn't have that. The previous, if you want to count his scouting, that's the previous front office experience. That ain't got nothing to do with you being able to bridge gaps between players, contract negotiation. He's not Ozzie Newsome. Can he evaluate talent? Probably.
And Ozzie played in the league too. I think people forget. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know.
His uncle played for the Lions. Do that count? Holmes' uncle played for the Lions.
Oh my god, we got 46 people in the chat. Make sure you guys like the video if you haven't already. But all right, we're gonna move on. Oh wow. Okay. We're gonna move on to the next question. But now that our GM has been settled, because obviously it was more important. I feel that we think it was more important for us to get the GM before the head coach first. Who do you think our next head coach will be? Because there's rumors like the top candidates could be Todd Bowles and Marvin Lewis now. That's just what the rumors are at this point. But there's some other things that I know the Lions are looking at. But do you think this head coaching hire would lead us to getting one of those coaches, or do you think that changes the landscape? Because I know they were saying like Salah was connected to certain GMs and things of that nature. So I'm gonna start with you, Rachel. What do you think? Do you think that changed the outlook on head coaching? Who you think is going to be now?
I see a lot of the rumors swirling about Marvin Lewis, and I see a lot of back and forth on that about that on Twitter right now. But I do hope that, and see, I'm so unsure on this because I definitely have a pros and cons list for the top 3 people that I think are left. But I kind of hope, and I know that not a lot of people are super, super thrilled about this, but if they're still taking a look at Arthur Smith, I think that would be interesting, the offensive coordinator from the Titans. And I know, what is he without Derrick Henry? I get it. But I really think that making Tannehill into more than a serviceable quarterback is quite the accomplishment, and I would be really interested to see what he could do. Granted, Stafford stays with us with someone that I personally believe, and I think many of us could agree is a lot more talented than Tannehill. Plus, you've got a young back in DeAndre Swift, and obviously we've only seen a fraction of how they're able to use him. But I mean, Arthur was also a defensive assistant at one point in time, an offensive line coach, a tight ends coach, obviously ended up as offensive coordinator. So he's been kind of all over the board for the Titans organization. And having done that, it kind of seems like maybe he deserves a chance to step up. What was it? In 2019, he helped the Titans rebound from their 2-4 start to get them to their first AFC championship appearance in 17 years. And then in his first season as offensive coordinator, I pulled the stats. The Titans ranked first in the NFL in red zone efficiency, third in rushing offense, and fourth in yards per play. The Titans' percentage in the red zone was the highest since the 2013 Denver Broncos. So, I mean, all that to be said, experience all over the table and those types of accomplishments is something that I would definitely be taking a second look at.
Now I'm not too keen on Arthur Smith because he had Derrick Henry, but what I will say is the guy we have now. I mean, he had Adrian Peterson, and people didn't diminish him because of that. Talking about Darrell Bevel, so we'll see. But I mean, the way Derrick Henry be trucking people, like it's just like it's just like there's nothing you can do about coaching with something like that. But so you think Arthur Smith is going to be the person that we pick?
You know, I don't think that he's going to be the person that we pick, but then that almost makes me feel like maybe he will be because it's the Lions. I'm trying to think outside of the box, which is why I went with that on the show instead of going with the rumor mill and the bigger names that are circulating, because that just isn't really what the Lions do. So it's not necessarily who I want, but I'm throwing it out there because, you know, that weird feeling of like, don't really want someone because they won't have that person. So It's not a want. It's just a thought, and one of the names that doesn't seem to be as big, if that makes sense to you guys.
I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm a fan of getting the offensive coach because, hey, even though we are the bad franchise, like Speak Easy said, we were the best when we had an offensive coach in recent memory. So, I do want to say, what's good to Detroit Drew, man. Shout out to him. But all right, moving on. Devin 99, man. Who do you think our next coach is going to be now that our GM has been picked and it's the Brad Holmes?
This is tough. To be honest, I have no clue, but who I want out of the guys we've interviewed so far, because I think Salah might be off the table. And I think we got to get some experience. So I would like to see Marvin Lewis.
I mean, yeah, this is funny. This Marvin Lewis thing, I would say fans are as divided about this as they are about Stafford. Like, it's some people that's like I'm not gonna be a fan no more. We get Marvin Lewis, and there's people like me, like, hey, I'll take him. Like, you know how many times on Twitter I've seen, don't get Marvin Lewis, don't get Marvin Lewis from different account, like different versions. Don't get Marvin Lewis, don't get Marvin Lewis, don't get Marvin Lewis. Don't just a hashtag. Like, people really don't want this guy, and then there's a whole other side that's like, well, looking at his 500 record and what he built with a trash Cincinnati team that was worthless and quarterbacks and the people he drafted, you know, he looks pretty solid to me. So we'll see.
God, I hate Lions fans.
I mean, it is like I think Marvin Lewis. It's probably going to end up being between Marvin Lewis and Todd Bowles. I hate to say it. I prefer Marvin Lewis 100%. Oh, my man Eric Brenner in the building. What's good, Eric? In top tier. But I think it's going to be one of those two that's going to be our head coach. And the Lions fans are not going to like it, or we getting somebody from college. But all right, Luke. now that we got this GM hire of Brad Holmes, who you think our next head coach is gonna be? Do you think he affects who we're about to get?
I think there's two trains of thoughts, and I think Barry Sanders kind of let the cat out the bag a little bit. There's
Hey, we
two
gonna
trains
talk
of
about
thought.
that later.
I'll just say, I think let's cat out the bag, but there's two trains of thought. The first thought is if you have the inexperienced GM, do you have to get an experienced head coach? If that's the case, then I think it's Marvin Lewis. If while Lions fans is talking, if Todd Bowles is the head coach, I'm done. What has Todd Bowles done ever?
Oh, you didn't hear me before the stream. I said I was gonna be in a state of depression if we got Todd Bowles. State of depression.
Man,
He did. He did.
that
What
dude
you say,
best
J-Mo?
season.
I said I'd be in a state of depression if we got Todd Bowles. Like I'll lose all hope. Like I'm serious.
Listen, his best season. This is not me just making it up because I want to hate the guy. His best season came with Rex Ryan's team. After that, his team that he put together, hot garbage. He couldn't do nothing with the Jets. So no, I honestly think it's going to be either Marvin Lewis or Saleh. I think they are still the top two candidates for the head coach position. But if I had to give you one dark horse, and this is just me looking at it from a different perspective, if they're going to make some changes where they bring in everything new, top to bottom, I can see them. I can see them really talking to a college head coach like PJ Flack or the guy from Fitzgerald from Northwestern, because I can see those being options now because you got a guy who's been scouting the college game. You got a guy who has literally in the college field, and now you're talking about them coming in and trying to rebuild a new culture with new blood, with younger people that's more player coach. And one of the biggest thing that they said is they need somebody who can come in that creates a culture that's inclusive, not divisive. They've learned their lesson from one Mr. Matt Patricia. But I think those would be the options if you ask me. I still think right now the front runner is Marvin Lewis. I think they go in the experienced head coach because they have the unexperienced GM.
I mean that can. I mean it can make sense both ways. You know, getting the experienced GM or just going all new. I will say that dude from Northwestern intrigues me a lot because like how are they like every year they're good and I'm like how are y'all like every year they're contending in the Big Ten and I'm like how are y'all better than us every year? That's really what I'm like. But
I think they love him.
Like I just don't understand how they're so good. Like it's Northwestern. Like so he intrigues me just because I don't understand how that team it has been so competitive like the last 3 years I say. But we'll see what they do with that. But all right, speak easy. Who do you think our next head coach will be?
Man, tough to say. I believe it was Arthur Smith was the one who got the second interview. Is there any other head coaching candidates that got a second interview with us? Do you guys know?
They're saying that Todd Bowles and Marvin Lewis are supposed to get second interviews.
Dang, Todd Bowles already interviewed for us?
No, Todd Bowles, I think, has his first interview with the Lions tomorrow. I saw earlier.
Okay. And then if I'm not mistaken, too, our new GM, Brad Holmes, he's also the first GM candidate to have a second interview. So I think they're probably leaning towards him. I can't speak on the coaches anymore either, man. I don't know what to call them. There's nothing anymore, man.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
The moral of the story.
This is what I said though. Like, just sit back and relax and let them pick.
Right. The moral of the story is don't want anybody. Just pray for whoever it is.
I really don't want the Titans OC. I don't want him at all. Like to me, like I look at the game that he have, and I was like, I'm gonna see you right off all this stuff. And the only thing that I heard in my head, based on what I saw on film, was he just rode the strongest part of their team, which was the running back. And I said, okay, cool. And once that running back was dead in the water, look at their offense. It was it was like terrible. It was just not like it wasn't the same offense. And that just tells me that if he comes here and you look at the strength of this team, it's Stafford, they're gonna just be throwing the ball a lot. So I'm nervous about that part of it.
But think about it like this. This is an idea that I had earlier. With Brad Holmes being their hire and having an eye for college talent, he may be the GM that, and there's plenty of us that wouldn't like this, but just hear out the scenario, would feel the most comfortable in trading away Stafford based on his perceived ability to spot a quarterback that would be worthy of taking his place. And then he looks at Arthur Smith and says, hey, what you did with Ryan Tannehill, taking him from, a deserved backup and making him a deserved starter, is the kind of quarterback development that I want to match with my eye for quarterback talent from college.
Yeah, but Tannehill is literally the same player that in Tennessee that he was on the Dolphins. The difference is he can now concede his role to the run game, which is what I want the Lions to do. Concede the role from the quarterback. I don't care if Peyton Manning or Tom Brady was the quarterback. That's one of the reasons why they succeeded, because they was able to concede a lot of their stuff to the run game. And when the teams get up to stop the run game, they dotted them up down the field. That's what I want to see from the Lions.
And they definitely did, but we also want to see an improved run game here. We obviously have to have the faith that Swift is going to be, hopefully one of the premier backs in the league. We talked a lot about that this season, that he's going to have an awesome career. And to be honest with you, I don't know what Tannehill's stats were, but for a team so run heavy with King Henry, Tannehill sure as hell put up a lot of fantasy points for me, so they had to have been throwing the ball.
No, Tannehill
I take it back.
Good numbers, and
I'm pretty sure they had two 1,000-yard receivers too.
Yeah, I was about to say, look,
Yeah.
I agree with Luke about. I'm very, very, very wary of Arthur Smith. But my thing is, we can't really do this, but like if he had Stafford, would they have beat the Ravens? They lost by 7. Tannehill can't get to AJ Brown and them boys. So maybe he could do something with, like, that's why when Rachel brought up like getting a new quarterback to pair him with, I think the only reason you would get Arthur Smith is because of Stafford. I don't think, like, if he wanted to get somebody new, you probably would get somebody like Salah or something. You probably would get somebody different if you wanted to move on than specifically Arthur Smith, I feel like.
If there's a guy I don't want, though, I will say, maybe not even don't want, but who I am wary of, I honestly think it's Marvin Lewis.
Oh, okay, good, cool.
Like
you worry him, then that means we're gonna get. I was about to be like, don't wait. That I'm on. Cool. That means we about to get him, y'all.
Listen, the fact that Easy said that, I'm gonna tell you why you should not be that. If Andy Reid had to stay in the NFC, right? I don't think he has a Super Bowl. Why? Because coaches learn their divisions and their conference like the back of their hands, right? When he went to the AFC, they were just learning a lot of the stuff that he's doing because they only play him every so often. And that's why his success was different. When you go through and you look at many of them head coaches who move from conference to conference, they have so much more success. Marvin Lewis moving from the AFC, when he did, because when he came into that team for the Bengals, everybody knew what his defense was. They had witnessed it. They studied it. They tried to copy it. He comes to the NFC where he's going to come in with pretty much a lot of the similar things. They're going to be competitive. They're going to win divisions. They're going to be able to take the next step because he's going to be defense-centric for focus. Plus, he had the experience to be able to work with prima donnas. He had to deal with Chad Johnson. And I can keep going on with other players that he had to deal with who were characters.
But he didn't deal with them right. You remember that playoff game against the Steelers?
Okay.
But you can't stop a player from doing it. You cannot stop a player from doing it.
That shows poor leadership. If he had like good control of the locker room or any type of leadership, like that stuff would have continued to happen as it did when he was there. On top of the fact going 0-7, he's not a bad head coach, but I totally agree with the Caldwell like stigma to him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, last time we had a Caldwell, we was winning games. That's all I know. But hey, you hate to say it, but it's the truth. Like,
sure.
Like last time we had a Caldwell, we were winning games, and Caldwell wasn't really that good.
And I would even say Caldwell.
He's never built a team before. And Marvin Lewis can coach both sides of the ball. So it's just a difference.
Plus, you can't take that one scenario. You can't take that one scenario and say, "Oh, that's not leadership." You wanted to get. Hold on, Wait,
more than that one
you
scenario.
wanted to give Matt Patricia a third year, and he showed you in the first year he had no leadership. But Marvin Lewis comes in, and you're going to take one scenario, two scenario. For every 3 scenarios you give Marvin Lewis, I'll give you 7 and 10 scenarios that Matt Patricia gave between years 1 and 2, and you still wanted him a third year.
Correct, because Matt Patricia was also going through a culture change. There was a whole
Oh.
different approach to the
He took
game that
over
he
way
had from the coach before. So it was butting heads with like the players and whatnot, because it wasn't what they were used to from the veterans on down, and just affected the whole team. Like that, there's a difference in that. With Marvin Lewis, he had the team for a long ass time. You know what I'm saying? He was the leader of that team for a long ass time. For that stuff to carry on, continue for as long as it did, especially towards the end, especially like, and then to go 0-7 in the playoffs, like you can't tell me that that's like a good coach and that's a guy you want to like be here. That's kind of crazy to me. But each their own for sure. But like, I just can't.
Dude, listen. Stay with me. You said Matt Patricia was going through a culture change, right?
Correct.
Did he complete his culture? Was this a Matt Patricia? He didn't complete his culture?
No.
And you know what? And you know, yes, he did. It was a losing culture, and it was a losing culture because he literally got all his guys by. If you're telling me that a head coach does not have all his guys by the 3rd season, just come on now. What's the odds?
There were even rumors of Stafford being upset with the way he was talking to people and stuff like that at the end of that. How's that completing his culture change? He didn't even get the leader of the team on board.
What does
hold on, wait.
What the head coach have to do with the culture change that Matt
you
Patricia
think
got all of his
Patricia
guys?
hold on, time out. You guys think Matt Patricia got that team on board with the way he coached?
Yes, Matt Patricia brought in Deron Harmon. Matt Patricia brought in Danny Amendola. Matt Patricia brought in Danny Shelton and James
There's
Collins.
more people than that. No,
we had so many Patriot players on this team. He brought in his guys over the last 3 years. He drafted the players that he wanted to draft.
Right.
Like, what are you saying?
I mean,
he didn't complete his culture. What do you mean? They were butting heads all the way up to the last year.
Okay, hold on.
His culture change wasn't complete. Like the whole entire team butted heads with them.
It was a losing culture.
Right.
That was a losing culture. Absolutely.
Don't mean
absolutely a losing culture. Like because it obviously didn't work. He couldn't get people to buy into it. But we didn't switch to it. You know what I'm saying? People
hold on. Wait. Let me ask you a question. Because this is how you nip arguments in the butt. Okay, you say he didn't get his culture done. How long do you think it takes for a culture to change?
If you're good, it could take. How long you think Caldwell turned around from Schwartz?
Wait a minute. That's not the question.
With Caldwell, I'm answering your question. I think people bought in with Caldwell's culture within the first year. I think if you're good at what you're doing, the turnaround is quick.
Okay, here's my question though. This is a numerical answer. How long do you think it takes to change a culture?
It could take as quick as a year.
And how long?
As soon as a year.
Not I asked how fast. How long?
As soon as a year, Luke. How's this? Okay. Bro? I'm not understanding. The timeline for you. That's 365 days for you, right there. Okay.
No, listen. All I'm saying is this: if you're telling me it can happen as quick as a year, then there's no way you should have been saying that he needed a third year. Because if what you're saying is true on your belief that it happens as quick as a year, which it did not happen with them, even with all the moves that he made, all these backups that we got, all these draft picks.
The culture didn't happen. You're admitting it. The culture didn't happen.
No, I say if you're saying that and the culture change didn't happen and you wanted him for a third year, that's a problem. That's what I'm saying.
And I wanted to give the opportunity to establish it, though. Is what I'm saying. Like I wanted to give him.
He got the opportunity.
Yeah, more.
And he failed. But that's why I asked for the opportunity because I understood.
Listen,
the drastic differences in the styles. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. How many points did Tampa Bay score? Yeah, that's Matt Patricia's culture.
Hold on.
Like, did you see him against the Titans? Bro, like his culture is this team that we have. You got Tracy Walker coming out on Twitter like a coach can make players look bad even if they're good players. Because talk to him.
Talk to him.
Hold on. Is this turning into why I think his culture was good? I never said that.
I know. I'm saying
he
never got to establish culture. It just was a bad culture.
Y'all coming at me like I'm saying like he was a good coach or anything like that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying he never had the opportunity.
No,
He never had the
he was
opportunity
fired
to
because of his
establish
bad
his
culture
shit.
that he established. No, he
he
established a bad
established it.
culture. That's why he was
It
fired.
wasn't
He went from
established. What do
winning
you
to
mean?
losing.
Nobody
It
bought
was.
in. Nobody bought in other than people he was trying to
No,
bring
he
in to
had all
help
his
his
guys
He
in
team.
the
brought in all of his
Patriots. That's why they're
It
here.
never worked.
We had like
You know what I'm
8
saying?
new
Like,
starters on the defense. We went
Okay,
from
we
winning to
go
losing because
right.
of him.
How you buy in when
who
you
was
lose?
ever on board with this dude? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Because we
What do you
sucked.
mean? You had Deron
but
Armor
that's
still
okay.
had
We
the cape
did
on.
suck.
You
But no,
had
people
Trey Flowers still with the cape on for Patricia after he got fired. I hope he get another head coaching job. You telling people ain't buy in. Trey Flowers one of the leaders on
for
the
sure.
team.
You said
They
right
bought
answer, right? It's
in, bro.
politics.
They bought in. And
Bro, listen,
They didn't
listen.
buy in, bro. You out of here. You are
They
out of here. That's
they
why
did buy in.
players
They
were
knew he
happy when the
was
man
trash.
was
Danny
gone.
Amendola.
Nobody was down with that shit. That's why they were happy listening to music and partying and shit after he left and practice and stuff. No one was in with that
Listen,
culture. No one was down with that.
listen. All I know is this. This is all I know. I know that he was supposed to be touted as a defensive genius. The defense sucked. So if he didn't change the culture of this defense, how in the hell are you going to try to imply that he never established it? He did. He tried to stay. That's why majority of the players on defense are what they are.
Luke,
You think the Lions
Luke.
just decided to take? Hold on, wait. You think the Lions just decided to take a bunch of big, overly large linebackers who don't have no speed? That wasn't part of the culture. That's what they do in New England. That's what he been doing. That's what he
Luke.
learned.
That was a style. That wasn't the culture. The culture
Oh
was
my God, this man said that
authoritarian.
was a style. All right, we moving
Authoritarian.
on.
Him being the big
This
boss.
man, that was a
Just because it's
style.
not a good culture
Culture
doesn't
is
mean
like where I say
traded-
goes type shit.
You trying to
That
tell me
no
this
one ever
man
bought
didn't
into it.
establish his culture and he traded away the second best player on our team?
He
What are
traded
you
away more
talking
than that.
about?
He traded away
Okay.
Dig.
I mean, yeah,
Anybody who challenged him, anybody who asked him a question about why are we doing this, they were out of here. Anybody.
Exactly. And nobody could get on board with that. They're like, yo, whoa, like we're grown ass men. We can't.
But it was 3 seasons though, bro.
Oh my God!
It's the third
Look, we gotta
season.
move on. I don't think you get it. Nobody can get on board with that. When you have a bad culture, people don't get on board. But it's still a culture, even if it's bad. That's the point.
No one was ever on board with it. I'm saying, especially in year 2, heading into year 3. No
people
one was
were
on
on
board.
I think that's
board.
why
He
every
had-
Patriot
Nobody
player
was on board, J-Mo.
signed
That's
with
why.
us. They
brought in
J-Mo,
all
let
his
me ask you
guys.
this. Let me just say this last thing. When Caldwell left, people were sad. It was like a somber feeling in the locker room and in interviews and whatnot.
Yeah.
When Patricia left, motherfuckers were happy. Motherfuckers like, yeah, we're having a good time now. Oh, we're listening to music at practice now.
Look,
You know what I'm
when
saying? Like,
Caldwell left, we were winning. When Patricia left, we were losing. When Schwartz left, we were losing. When Schwartz left,
listen. Because they were in tune with Caldwell. They were in tune with what he was doing.
No.
Patricia, that was never the case, and that's why there was never success. There was never a buy-in to the culture. That's why there was never success at the time he was here, bro. Like that's literally that's a literal iteration of it. You know what I'm saying? Like people were sad when Caldwell left because they were down with what he was doing.
When people
When
sad
Patricia left, they're like, bye.
Because he
You know what
lost.
I'm saying? Bye.
Because he
You know,
lost.
like,
what do you mean? Because he lost. When Schwartz left, they were happy because he was a loser. Caldwell was. I wouldn't have been mad if Caldwell left.
They weren't happy when Schwartz left. They were happy when Schwartz left because they were down with that culture too.
Yes, they were. They
were
weren't
not happy. No one was happy when Schwartz. Fans may have been happy. Front office may have been happy.
They were happy when Schwartz left. Caldwell
They
came
weren't
in there
happy,
right.
bro. I disagree with you wholeheartedly. And I would say like no one bought into the culture. That's why there was no success.
Listen.
That coach too.
Right.
If
That's why
ain't nobody,
was a happy feeling when he was gone, not a somber one.
If ain't nobody buy into the culture, then you should have never been rooting for him to have a third season.
If people bought into the culture, yeah, we would have been seeing Darius Slay traded and like all the like snacks retiring and stuff like that. Like, don't tell me a team bought into the culture.
What kind of culture? What kind of culture is built around insulting people and threatening their livelihood?
Clearly, you know what I'm saying? He coming from a culture that was established from like the 90s and 80s when you could do that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like now it's social media, people can voice their opinions constantly, microphones, these dudes' faces. Like you can't do that, man. There's a lot more player empowerment nowadays than when Bill Belichick came in.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
He had never won a thing in his life. Who you talking to like that? That's the problem. If Bill Belichick said those things, Darius Slay would have been pissed off, but he would have sat down.
Mm-hmm.
Like he wouldn't have got up and tried to fight Bill Belichick. So
and back then, though, that's how they talked.
It doesn't matter. No, not unqualified. I bet you that didn't go well with the locker room. Some unqualified dude comes in there talking to y'all like that. That don't go over well.
No, he just thought he was the head coach, so that means you guys respect me. Just because you're
we gonna move on, y'all. This is why we do the round table, y'all. We always have the heated debate. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Make sure you guys like the video. But we're gonna move on to something interesting I found Dave Burkett, I think he had an article talking about Barry Sanders, and you should go and read what Barry has to say. And we know that Barry's involved in our organization and things that we're doing. And in the questions, he was talking about our new head coach at Stafford, and he says that according to what he knows, he expects Stafford to return for the next season. And he says the Lions have been eyeing some college coaches. He says they've interviewed a lot of NFL head coaches, and they haven't brought in a college coach yet. But he said that they're really looking at the college game, and Chris Spielman has a lot of input on that. And now you just got a guy who's college scouting guy, so maybe he wants a college guy. Who knows what that's going to go on with that? But what are your thoughts on Barry Sanders' comments on these two things? I'm gonna start with you, Richard.
I mean, Barry knows best, right? I think I don't know because I haven't heard a lot swirling about college coaches. Obviously, there are some rumors. Luke mentioned them, but we haven't seen any of these guys actually get any interviews with the team yet. Maybe they're yet to come. I mean, that would be awesome. Then they'd be really doing their due diligence in this search. That would mean they'd interview a lot of guys, definitely looking for the best fit. If they were to bring in a coach from college, I think that coach would be lucky to have a quarterback like Matt Stafford. I think they would know it. I think they'd be grateful to step into that situation. I think in said situation might be one of the instances where I'd say no way do they get rid of Stafford going into next year, but I don't know what the truth is to that. And obviously, there's a lot of talk about what's going to be going on with Stafford, regardless of who the next head coach is. And now with this Brad Holmes hire. But I mean, realistically, I think the main thing I'm going to choose to focus on in that article is that Barry says Matthew Stafford, he thinks Stafford's coming back next year. And I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna hold on to that hope from Barry because I know we're a fan base divided there, but I really, really think as far as not only player development goes, but business wise, money wise, I don't think it's a good decision to let Stafford go next season. So that's what I'm going to choose to focus on out of that question. I hope Barry's right there.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're trying to make sense and not take a $20 million cap hit for basically no reason, because that rookie quarterback is not going to come in there and take you to the promised land. So,
and neither
there's
is
no
any of
reason
the quarterbacks coming. Yeah, neither are any of the quarterbacks that we could sign in free agency.
I think a new coach would at least, and I hate to even say it, but if the season go well, the new coach will be like, well, Stafford's not my guy. Let me get my guy. It's even an excuse for the coach to fall back on.
Right,
but
and
who knows what the GM wants to do? We gonna see what he does.
And I see OMG, what's up, OMG? He's in the chat now. He says there's no way that they, with only 5 draft picks, they keep Stafford. He's their biggest bargaining piece. But I mean, to that, I see your Stafford and I raise you Kenny Golladay. I mean, not that anybody would like that either, but Kenny Golladay is also a big bargaining piece.
Yeah. But okay, Luke G. What are your thoughts on what Barry was talking about with Stafford and the college coaches and the Lions being interested? And looking at these ranks and seeing, we talked a little bit about it.
First of all, I think this idea that Stafford's the biggest bargaining piece is stupid. And I'm going to tell you why I think it's stupid. First of all, I personally hope they do trade Stafford. I can't wait for them to trade Stafford. As I watch Lions fans blame the next quarterback. Can't wait for it. They will be 18-0 on blaming the quarterback, and I can't wait. 2, let's be honest. Rob Wood said when he made his hire for a general manager, he wanted somebody who understood that this was not a rebuild. This was a fine-tuning, not a rebuild. And he does not believe that this team needs to be rebuilt. And I happen to think that's one of the reasons why they brought in Mr. Holmes, because he don't believe that he needs to do a rebuild. And part of the project is this. Who goes into a year with 5 draft picks and complain? When nobody complaining when we traded that 6th-round pick for EG, don't complain now. We got 5 picks. And if this guy is anything what people say he is as a drafting person, there's no concern. In terms of Stafford leaving and going, it doesn't matter. Barry was simply making a point that every stone would not go unturned, and that guess what? Chris Spielman is going to hit on every aspect that he can. College coach, previous coach, coordinators, he want them all. Because whoever's coming in here, the moment they say, I got to rebuild, they're done. His team does not need a rebuild. And the reality is they're showing you that in the hires that they're making. You have a talent evaluator. There's no need to move on from a quarterback. There's a need to draft a quarterback or draft talent so that the next quarterback can be successful. That's what I think Barry was saying. He's a part of the plan in the future because he has to be. You can't just go out and grab another quarterback and say, oh, we're going to have this rookie quarterback, because ain't no fan in this chat or on this panel going to be okay if we going into the season with David Blau or freaking Chase Daniels as the starting quarterback while we got a rookie. So let's stop that.
And I'm going to jump back in here, Luke, because Speakeasy was right. I'm totally forgetting that Kenny Golladay is not under contract next season. But I put this in the chat. I mean, the thing is I want to know what the reasonable alternative is next season. Are we drafting a quarterback and saying, oh, all right, go do it? Are we starting Chase Daniel? Are we going to pay one of the average quarterbacks entering free agency for a season? I mean, out of all of those alternatives, then what is the most reasonable? None of them really sound very reasonable to me.
It just sounds stupid. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just say it. Like, even if you want to get a new quarterback, you draft him, cool, but you let him sit. It just makes no sense to get rid of Stafford this year. That's just like the dumbest thing like you can do. But we'll see how smart Holmes is. But I do agree with Luke with what he was talking about. It's not a rebuild. I've been preaching that for the longest. If you fix the defense, you fix the team. You fix the defense, fix the head coach, fix the defense, fix the team. And if a fixed defense can be 15th ranked, we're not asking for a world beater defense. You know what I'm saying? We're just asking for a defense that can keep us in the game and not get 45. What was it? 42 dropped on them in a half. Like I never seen before. That's all we're asking for. And when you're looking at that, I'm pretty sure he's figuring the same thing. I just fixed his defense. We're stuck with Big V, so our O-line is going to be what it is. Then you can fix this team. It's ways to be flexible. You just got to be able to know what you're doing, man. And regardless, all the talent you add into this team, that next quarterback that you want to replace Stafford is going to have all this talent. It works for both situations. I don't think fans really realize that main aspect. Like whoever replaces Matt Ryan is going to have hella talent. That's how you're supposed to do it. When you have a new quarterback, you don't leave them with a shambles Lions team.
But if you add on to that, J-Mo, if you add on to it with this standpoint, just literally this standpoint alone, the guy that you got, the fans are excited that he's a talent evaluator. All I kept hearing from everybody is they haven't had a first round pick in 3 or 4 seasons. Look what he came up with. Either he a talent evaluator or you nervous. You can't have both ways. It is what it is. And Barry understands that if you're doing a rebuild here, you're not the right guy. Because if you look what happened to the Rams under Jeff Fisher. That team went what, 2-14?
It was ugly.
Yeah, they did.
And then the next year, boom, out of the gate. They improved the side of the ball that was weak and out of the gate. That's all it takes. It's not a rebuild. It's a renovation.
No, they went and got Aaron Donald some help, and then all of a sudden, I know, Luke, you've been disagreeing this, but look, one year I pray we just go all in and try to win. And I mean, they did do that, and you see how they were. But maybe this is the season. Like, just go and just can I see some effort? Because Bob Quinn is
don't work.
So mum, man. He just he just did nothing for us.
that is about as elusive of an idea as tanking. It just doesn't work. The best team that wins draft their players.
It don't work when your quarterback Jared Goff and he give you 3 points in the Super Bowl. But
yeah, okay, but look. Remember what the Jags did? How they fire sold everything and got all them people in free agency and they sold out for it. And then the Ravens did the same thing. Yeah, but the Ravens did the same thing one year. They went all in and got the Raiders did it.
Look at
I'm
the,
just showing you.
Every time you say that, just show me a quarterback of Stafford level on one of those teams that it didn't pan out with in recent memory. Like all of them that had
Tom Brady.
trash quarterback.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady got 6 rings. I don't care.
No. I'm talking about the year that they went all in. When they had Randy Moss, they added a few other people on defense who were veterans on 1-year deals. They had it all, and they lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl.
Hey, at least they made it, man.
Okay.
That's real shit.
The Rams failed miserably, but they made their first Super Bowl as the LA Rams since like what 1970. So at least they went to the Super Bowl.
I can't argue with that dream. You see, I conceded.
But okay, y'all. All right, speak easy, man. What's your thoughts on this topic about Barry and the college coaches and Stafford being here?
Man, I don't think I want a college coach. I'll fully come out. I mean, I think I've spoken in the past and maybe said that I would be open to it, but now after seeing like the Cliff Kingsbury project just not really going anywhere, kind of sticking around like 7 wins a year, stuff like that. I'm ready to keep the coaching hire from the NFL. I want a coordinator. It could be a young one. I mean, I don't care. It could be another. I want a coordinator. I don't really know if there's any experienced head coaches out there right now that I think I'd want off the top of my head. And the other thing too with the college guys is like the same thing with Patricia talking down on people and whatnot like that. Like you could do that as a college coach. I don't know if you guys play football in high school and whatnot. It was always like guest coach. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like that type of stuff. It's not like that in the NFL a little bit. It's not. These are grown men you're speaking to. You know what I'm saying, with family.
Yeah,
kids,
but you know, Cliff Kingsbury didn't come in there like, yeah, Kyler, you ain't nothing. Like, yeah, Roland, you guard. Like he didn't come in there. Like
no, but I'm saying that's the culture in college, though. Like, man. So like,
yeah, a-hole, bro.
No, for sure, Patricia a-hole. But that's always been like the reason why they say like Urban Meyer never been like crossed over. You know, and coaches like that is because it's a different vibe. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he crossed over now.
Yeah, I don't really want anyone from college. And then what was the question about Stafford? You threw in?
No, he said Barry Sanders says he expects Stafford to return next season. Like being on the line.
And I'm okay with that. I know, and obviously I made the video and I felt that it's time for him to leave, which I still like do believe in. Like it's time for us as a franchise to kind of move on from that chapter. But $19 million will hold that up. You know what I'm saying? And I'm totally cool with having him here for a quarterback to mentor under. Especially at that price. Like if we're gonna pay $19 million, I'd rather pay it to have him mentor or usher in a new era.
100%.
Yeah, like I don't understand why you would take the cap. It don't make no sense to me. It's not like I don't think his trade value would go down. It actually might be up if he plays the whole season without any injuries.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If he balls out next year, then he's still going to have value. And 33 is not old for a quarterback in this league anymore when you've got guys out there at 43, 37 that are still, I mean, in talks to be MVP candidates. So that's a 4-year contract with another team. And I mean, value if he balls out next year, for sure.
Right. All right. Devin 99, what's your thought on this whole topic with Barry and us? You know, we leaving no stone unturned. We looking in the college ranks as well.
To be honest, the college coaching part, that's tough for me because I've been a big Lincoln Riley fan forever, but I don't think he's going to leave Oklahoma. And the only other guy would be Pat Fitzgerald. I really like Pat Fitzgerald. He reminds me of Robert Saleh, kind of just going crazy on the sideline. Always got a really good defense, and no, like realistically, not a lot of big, like what's it called, recruits go to Northwestern, and to always be competitive in the Big Ten and always have a dominant defense. Not dominant, but a really good defense. I really like Pat Fitzgerald. And then the Stafford issue, I mean, I'm not surprised. I feel like the interviews pretty much went like they asked you what you want to do with Stafford in the future. And if the GM candidate said move on and rebuild, they said get out because like they want to win now. But, you know, I don't know. Because like
it's so many rumors swirling about Stafford. It's hilarious. Like it's one rumor that I think is completely fake, but the dude said Stafford said he wanted out, and then the Lions was like, "Nah, we ain't sure about that." They're like, "Nah."
Stafford wanted out, dude. Definitely.
They're like, "No, you're not leaving, bro."
They held him at gunpoint.
And I don't think there's any truth to that, but it's just
Nah.
funny the type of stuff that's coming out. Oh man. But you know me, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna just let the fans have fun with that Stafford stuff. Y'all can make fun.
Can I gotta say this because this is what I feel like people get stuck on. I'm not even saying I can't let go of Stafford because of his play. I love Stafford. I'm a Stafford homer. That's not what I'm saying. Y'all got to drop the narrative of stop defending him. It's about letting him, to this point, what I'm saying is it's about letting him go when it makes the most sense. Like, it can't always, yes, do I think he is a great player? Yes. And that's a totally separate conversation. But that's the narrative that everybody brings into this conversation, which I think multiple people on the panel are trying to say, fine, if he's got to go, let him go when it makes the most sense.
Yeah. 1,000%.
It's a family show. Speak easy, man. Chill out.
I see someone say cream, right? Chill
out, bro.
Hey, bro, I do want to say one more thing though to the college coaches' point is like a lot of those guys like rah rah. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like, let's go type shit. And NFL, that shit fizzes out after 4 years. After 4 years of you rah rah in my face and we ain't won a fucking championship, like get the fuck out of here, bro. In college,
you ever say the same thing about Robert Saleh?
You know, the whole point of rah rah guys is they end up winning. You know, that's where I'm pretty sure the first rah rah guy was a winner. You know, so that's where you gotta win.
It don't last though. It fizzes out.
Right.
I mean, I'll be cool with a rah rah guy. If we have the roster for a rah rah guy to step in and win with, I'm with it.
No, I'm just saying we had Jim Schwartz, and Jim Schwartz was a rah rah guy, but we just couldn't win nothing. And
yeah, but Jim Schwartz got a shitty deal though when you think about it because he took over the first 0-16 NFL team.
Yeah.
So
he got time though. We gave him a lot of time.
Yeah. Oh, we did?
Yeah, was he like 5 years?
Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Man, we're not doing that right now.
You can't even count the first 2 years.
But okay. Anyway, what message? Okay, we moving on to the beginning. I feel like
no, man.
Hey man, no, we're not doing that, dog. We're not doing that, bro.
How long? A year? How long?
But as y'all can see the question up there, we got 73 people in the chat. Make sure you guys like the video. What message do you think Sheila is sending with this hire, considering how you know she brought in some trusted Lions people? She talked to all the effort she put into this, the whole thing, you know, because she's done way more effort than her mom ever even thought about or even forgot about, you know. So, what do you think the message that she's sending with this hire? I'm gonna start with you, Rachel.
I think for me, she's sending a message that she wants to fix an issue that has been long-standing with the Lions, and she wants to get their drafts right. I think we're all tired of the more misses than hits stuff. I think she looked at that as the ground-up approach, draft the right guys, and now you're on track to building a well-rounded team. For me, that's gotta be what she was saying, considering that she's going with a guy who has built his entire 18-year-long career drafting for the Rams. Like Devin said, 25 Pro Bowlers since 2003. Did you know that since 2016, only 3 players that the Rams have drafted, and we're crediting Holmes for those drafts, only 3 of those players are not in the league anymore. 3 since 2016. That's a pretty big deal.
He was changing the culture, Rachel. I couldn't help myself.
Oh my goodness, man. But all right, Devin 99, man. What message do you think Sheila is sending with the hire of Brad Holmes?
I agree with Rachel. Pretty much, we're gonna build a team, and we're gonna build it through the draft. That's how you build teams in the NFL, especially the Lions. We got to build through the draft. And to be honest, I think I've never seen, we interview so many people, 12, was it 12 GM candidates? It's what's the old owner's name? Martha. She went and never did all that. So it's I really think.
Did she interview 3 people or something?
Who?
Martha, and like two of them were within the organization.
Yeah,
Yeah, she interviewed three. She interviewed three. She interviewed three people, and one of them was because of the Rooney Rule, and the other, and they both were within the organization, if I'm not mistaken. But like I said, I told Lions fan that we was not going to get through the playoff without us getting our GM or head coach.
Yeah, I just love that she interviewed all those guys because it really just shows like I don't like people just going and saying like it's the same old Lions. We drafted a guy, or I mean we hired a guy who has no experience, and I'm never gonna trust what the Fords do because I don't like comparing Sheila Ford and Martha Ford. We already can tell she's a whole different breed just on the fact that how many people they have been interviewing, and that right there just shows you they're different, and she wants to win.
Man, she showed you she was different when she pulled up to Matt Patricia house.
Yeah, true.
Like I'm telling you, man, she pulled up. She like, yo, and I'm telling you, she pulled up to his house before Houston was like, hey, lose this game. No, she didn't say nothing. She just rolled down the window and was like,
she just looked at him.
Rolled the window back up.
She had her glasses on, looked at him, just drove by.
He already knew what it was. As soon as he lost to Houston, she was like, yeah, you out of there. Now, I had to highlight this comment by Dolo Dynamite because the greatest three words I've ever saw at the end of a sentence. I had to, Christian Jones ASAP. Cut Christian Jones ASAP. Greatest four words.
Okay, listen. Can I just say this really quick, people? If you tag, I want y'all to understand something. If you tag Kenny Galladay, that's 18 to 19 million. That's guaranteed, fully guaranteed. If you trade him, you are on the hook for 18 to 19 million, fully guaranteed. What logic in somebody's right mind would it make to you know what you're asking them to do would be the same thing as if you were saying, go out, buy a car for $20,000 and sell it for $20,000, but you got to still pay the car note. Like, it's dumb. It's dumb. You cannot do this. Okay? The salary cap, it goes against that. If you tag him, that's all guaranteed money. You eat every penny of that 18 or 19 million. And you better pray to God that nobody else gets a new contract before that time comes, because that increases it. It's the top 5 contracts. You cannot trade, let alone tag and trade a player unless you have large chunks of cap. And the Lions do not. Stop with that, please.
By that same logic, if you can't eat the 18-19 for Kenny, why are we so willing to eat the 19 for Stafford?
It don't make sense.
No, because Lions fans, their best argument is he's been here so long. I'll just keep saying it. 0-16. But I'll say it every time you come to me with it. 0-16.
Stop! You can't say that.
I can say that because that's where we were before.
That's what it would have been this year.
like that's where we were before. Come on, 0-8. The last time Stafford missed a game, Tampa Bay scored 60 points. Like, what are we talking about?
I mean, and it's not even that. If you trade Stafford, right? That's 19. You tag Kenny. That's 19, and then you trade him. That's $38 million in dead money. Who eating that? Who doing this?
No, nobody in their right. Somebody who getting fired.
It don't make sense.
That's what's gonna do it. But all right.
I'd definitely be interested in doing some research to see if like anything like that has been done. I know Peyton was cut, but I don't necessarily know like what his contract.
It's happened before. But the teams that did it, they had so much cap. Like they had like 100 and stuff. I know the Raiders did it with Charles Woodson. I believe it was Charles Woodson they did that with. I believe that the same thing happened with the Giants. I want to say it was Odell Beckham Jr. They gave a new contract to. But it's happened. But they had the cap space to do it. Ain't nobody eating $38 million in dead money on a season. That's crazy.
Yeah, and the Giants, I mean, that didn't really help them at all. Like they really crippled them eating that cap from Odell Beckham. So, because I still can't believe they did that. Like they had him now. Yeah. But that's a whole nother conversation. But,
and can I respond to this B. Taylor where he said the Lions fans are traumatized, like we aren't capable of getting another good quarterback? That's not the problem. our history said we haven't been doing good at doing it. That's the problem.
But also that goes back to the same thing about like the narrative that's stuck in everybody's mind of like, we can't let Stafford go. He's the best thing we've ever had. Da da da. And yes, while some of us are still going to defend his play, I think the main point of it is like, okay, you're not scared to get better, but why can't we just draft a quarterback this year to send underneath Stafford and then not lose the money along the way? Why are we so stuck on it having to be fans that defend Stafford versus fans that don't? Why can't it be about what makes the most sense?
Because they don't care, Rachel. They're Lions fans. They don't care about what makes the most sense. Like the Lions are the only fan base. You got a quarterback. Look, I don't care about the debates. Top 10. And you like, yeah, we don't want them no more. Like what?
B. Taylor says history don't always. My apologies, Jay, but B. Taylor says history doesn't always repeat itself.
That's true, man. If we get the number one overall
pick,
that's what I keep telling y'all. You want another Stafford, we gotta go 0-16. You want Trevor Lawrence?
But
look at the Jaguars. Like,
wait.
Do y'all get it? That's how you get another quarter. 1-15, 0-16. If y'all want that, cool. But I don't want that the next 2 years.
We don't need that though. You
that's
don't
the
need
only
that.
way you get another quarterback of that caliber. Andrew Luck, Trevor Lawrence, these guys number one overall.
You don't need those guys to do it.
And we do. We're the Lions. That's
listen. This
never done to say what we need though. You know.
Hey, okay. But
here's the thing: history definitely repeats itself. If you just go through our first season, being the first team to go 0-16, supposed to be defensive guru under Rob Marinelli, they go 0-16, had one of the worst defenses out. Here we go, fast forward, Matt Patricia, defensive guru, it has the now number one worst defense going out. History repeats itself every single time. You don't learn from it. And the one thing that I can tell you as a Lions fan, you tell me what's the difference between Rob Marinelli and freaking Matt Patricia. Don't tell me history don't repeat itself. It happened before our eyes again.
Man, like I said, we ain't gonna get into all this Stafford stuff. Like, let these fans have fun, and Stafford will be right there in that blue uniform, still playing, and they'll still be bitter like they usually are. Just have fun with it. But you're not gonna get me to believe that we can get a quarterback replacement for Stafford that's not gonna be the number one overall pick. I'm sorry, like, because you're gonna need that when you have a franchise as bad as it's gonna be once he leaves. Like, I had to look up the score because I know they didn't score 60. It was like 47-7 against Tampa Bay. Like, what in the world was that? But we're not gonna do all of that. I wanted to move on to one question that's very interesting because we've been talking about signing Kenny Galladay, but there's been other players on this team that has produced and maybe earned themselves a contract playing well. The best defensive player from our team this year, Romeo Okwara. And I'm sure he's going to have a big price tag. And me and Rachel and Devin, we were discussing that you probably won't be able to re-sign Romeo and Kenny Galladay if you want to keep both of them. But regardless of, picking one or the other, regardless of that, simply should the Lions re-sign Romeo Okwara, and bring him back to this team. So I'm going to start with you, Devin.
If signing Romeo Okwara means we can't keep Galladay, I don't know. This is the hardest question I've ever been asked, to be honest, because I want both of them. But should we resign them? Yes, if it works, like the money works. But I feel like Galladay is a top 10, top 12 at his position, and I don't think Romeo Okwara is. Unless, I don't know. I really don't know, to be honest. I think I want to keep Romeo Okwara just because of how bad our defense is, but I feel like if it means we can't keep Galladay, then probably not.
See, I asked you to separate the two. Don't bring Galladay into the segment. But and I did tell you, just like I told you off air, if you lose Galladay, you're gonna have to get a receiver, probably a high premium, like a high value. Either you paying another, I don't know why you would pay another receiver a big contract, not Galladay, but you either doing that or you spending a first or second round pick on a receiver. And if it's a first pick, we all won't be Lions fans. So we'll see. But okay, Rachel, should the Lions re-sign Romeo Okwara? This question kind of came from my discussion with you, so let's see what you got to say about it.
This answer is a hard one because obviously they can't keep both Kenny Galladay and Romeo Okwara, but I am 100% always going to go with the bigger need, and that is on defense. So if it came down to it, I'm extending Aquara because at least you can hope to build the trenches around him, whereas we're coming into a draft with a deep wide receiver class. And it hurts me to say that, but it's the truth.
So I just got a question that's completely unrelated. I'm going to different. It's like we know that Stafford doesn't necessarily need Kenny to be successful. We've literally seen it. But we also know that like difference makers are just that word, and I think Kenny G is one. So if we really chose our core over Kenny Galladay, like what are we gonna do at receiver? Like is it kind of like Stafford? We just gonna get you some guys and hopefully pound the ball with DeAndre Swift and use Hawkinson? Like Marvin Jones is not re-signing. It's just like they're gonna have to make some decisions, or our offense gonna be looking like that 2016 wide receiving core. I don't think people remember what that looked like. It was like Golden Tate, Fresh Marvin Jones, and Theo Riddick. That was the core, like and Eric Edrop. So we'll have
Third
to
down
see.
Theo was a problem.
Hey, you said third down Theo. No, you. I've never heard that name. No, you did not call it. Third
Every
down
time.
Theo.
Third down Theo, bro.
No, he was clutch on third down. I'm gonna give him that. Much better than Danny Amendola. But all right, Luke, man, should the Lions re-sign Romeo Okwara?
No. Yeah, I know. I just upset the room with that one. No. Listen, has he shown some play for the Lions? Yes. But he's looking for a big payday. And what I find, it's not even a Lions thing, it's a player thing. When they get that big payday, they never live up to it. They never do. Very few do. And to me, you have a talent evaluator. This defense could be going in a totally different direction. Okay? They really could. We don't know. They can still stay at 3-4. They can go to a 4-3. If they go to a 4-3, you still got Trey. You got to keep him. And you still got Julian Alcor. So, Julian Alcor can play that same position as his brother. At least I believe he can. And to me, I'm not with it. I'm not with this because I feel like the moment we pay him, we're not going to get anything. That's how I feel.
But the moment we play Kenny Galladay, is he going to play 5 games next season?
Oh no, that was just because of this year. And I remember I asked that question at the beginning of the year, and J-Mo was like, "No, man, he wouldn't do that." I said, "I'm telling you, it just seems strange that no, he really hurt."
But then if he did that, what is that? I mean, is that the type of like? I mean, I get it. People are going to manipulate the system, but is that the type of character you want? Like somebody that's going to sit out the whole season to force a contract extension?
Rachel, I'm finna really set the room on fire. I don't want them to re-sign Kenny Galladay neither.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's not gonna set the room on fire. Like a lot of people don't want Galladay.
Hey, we hear some smash in J-Mo's room.
No.
Some glass break. I was waiting for it.
I feel different about Galladay hip injury. Ever since what happened to Killian, it had me researching a lot about hips and stuff. And I just find it hard to believe that if he was healthy, he couldn't miss all of them. I don't think it just doesn't help him to miss all of those games. It doesn't help. But
receivers come a dime a dozen.
That's a whole nother conversation. I just feel like he would be harder to replace than Romeo Okwara though, because you would have to spend a higher premium.
Nah, man. You look at the league. You go team by team. You're more likely to find 2 receivers probably than you are to find a decent.
So you gonna find a receiver as good as Galladay, not in the first or second round.
Not as good as Galladay. Yes. We can't afford him. I think we gotta be real too.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna hold you to that, Luke. I'm gonna hold you to that.
But you know what's gonna happen if they don't sign Kenny, he'll go ball out somewhere else. If they do sign him, he'll end up injured again next season. If they don't sign Romeo Okwara, he'll continue his success this year with another team. If they do, for some reason, he's going to be a bust next year. I don't know why it happens that way.
I mean,
Okwara's the one I want to sign, though, because it's a cheaper signing, though. You know what I'm saying?
That's 100% true.
I wouldn't really. I don't know about signing either one, but I would rather sign Galladay before Okora, just because I feel like Okora production is. We can replace that easier than what Galladay brings to the table. I feel like so, especially when you
Man,
think that Marvin
What?
Jones and Danny Trash Dolo won't be here. We need somebody like we really don't have our wide receiving core is Cephas, T.J. Hawkinson, and Galladay right now. That's the receiving core.
See if it still sounds like something you don't want, bro.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like that's the receiving core right now. And if you get rid of Galladay, your receiving core is T.J. Hawkinson and Cephas. Like that's just not looking good. But if you get rid of Okora, I'm not saying our D line is good, but if you get rid of Okora, you know, you can put it just like Luke was talking about putting in Julian there. You still got Trey Flowers. It's just a little bit different.
I
But
mean, but you still got free agency. Corey Davis is going to hit the free agent market. You're going to have free agents.
yeah, but I don't like paying another receiver, but you won't pay Galladay.
Yeah, but if the cost is cheaper and you still get the same production, who cares? You
Yeah,
got
but
listen.
I think any receiver with what's his name, Chris Godwin is gonna be up, and what Curtis Sampson, like those guys are gonna cost just as much.
I don't
And they'll
think they
get you.
are.
I definitely think Chris Godwin gonna cost a lot.
You talking from the Buccaneers, right? You used to play at
Chris
Penn
Godwin will
State.
probably get more.
Yes. Yeah.
Man, no, he not.
Samuel too, man. Like I feel like you might as well pay Galladay if you're gonna go pay another receiver. I'd rather you draft a receiver before paying one.
Okay, well then listen. Even if you go that route, it's easier to replace a receiver than it is to replace a pass rusher. It's just a proven history fact. I mean, Kenny Galladay is living proof of that. He wasn't took it in the first round; he was took it in the third. Antonio Brown, a fifth round pick. I mean, these people come out left or right that we don't even think about, and they perform. Receivers is one of those positions where given a chance they do their thing, but
Yep.
I'm just not with like this is my attitude.
That's facts.
Why would we do this? We've already had this experiment with Calvin Johnson. Why are we doing this again?
And Luke is the same one talking about they need to pay Galladay to show the league and stuff. And now,
No, because listen, you gotta understand something. You ever believe in one thing. If you were telling me that they were going to one thing I was saying was you gotta sign Galladay because you want to show that you sign your players. That is true. I still believe in that thinking. But if I believe that this guy is a talent evaluator that he is, when he's getting receivers like Stadman Bailey, Tavon Austin, Cooper Kupp.
You're using the GM level of ability as to why you shouldn't resign Galladay. That's an
No.
interesting
What I'm saying is this. With Kenny Galladay, he clearly wants a certain amount of money because he's a third round pick and he believes he's outperforming that contract. And I can respect him for that. But my point is this. I'm not handing out big contracts to nobody at all in this first year. Nobody. I'm trying to set us up for cap space and for wiggle room. And because when Stafford come off the books, that's even more cap space and wiggle room. And my attitude,
you gonna have to sign somebody to a big contract because we got holes to fill. Whether it's Galladay or paying the receiver. I mean, Quinn came and
you draft
draft
them.
But
you got to draft.
About it. So okay, we'll see if they draft a receiver. I think they probably somebody getting paid. Like somebody definitely gonna get paid.
The Rams don't pay receivers.
Didn't they pay Cooper Kupp?
They pay Cooks. They pay Cook. Yeah, you're right.
And they paid Cooks. Yeah.
And they traded Cooks too, didn't they?
And they got Kupp too. Kupp is a golf's boy, so he kept him on the team.
But he got paid too.
But this is a completely unrelated topic, and then we're gonna get to the questions in the chat, and then we're gonna wrap it up. So make sure you guys start dropping your questions. I brought them up now that the season was over. I think this is very interesting. What is your evaluation of Quintez Cephas in his rookie year? You know, I think this is a very interesting topic. You know, we all saw that he can get separation without his speed, but man, if he was faster, we would have a lot more touchdowns. Like them overthrows hurt when you see Cephas trying to run for the ball knowing he can't catch up. But look, we're not here for that, man. He been balling.
Man, he pulled up on most of them deep balls. I can show film of him pulling up. I'm halfway done with his film study, and he's pulling up on passes. If he just keep running, he can't.
We're gonna get to it. We get the evaluation. But all right, Rachel. What's your evaluation of Cephas' rookie season? You know. This guy's gonna be on the team.
For the rookie season, I think he was average and trending in the right direction at the end. Because in the beginning, I was a little bit concerned about his hands. I mean, he had a few serious drops earlier in the season that hit him, right in the chest. But I do think towards the end of the season, he started trending in the right direction. You saw why they drafted him. He is a route runner, a little bit slow, but I felt pretty good about his last couple of games, and it gave me kind of the feeling that maybe it was just taking a little bit of time to click. That happens with certain rookies. I mean, yeah, you saw a lot of the highly touted receivers go out there, and those are the ones that you don't really expect to need the same kind of lag time. Quintez Cephas had that lag time, but he seemed to be trending in the right direction at the end of the season. I'm giving him a C because I was worried at first and starting to feel better at the end.
Okay. Devin 99, man. What's your thoughts of Quintez Cephas rookie year and your evaluation, man?
I like what I seen. Obviously, the drop passes were an issue. That was more earlier in the year. Like the Bears game, he got targeted a lot, like 9 times in his first ever NFL game. But I'm not worried about the drop passes. I think he'll clean that up, and he did improve like every week. But the biggest thing I wanted to see from him coming into the year is, can he separate and can he get open? And he showed me that he could get open. He can create separation, and he got a couple deep balls. Then he get like a 76-yard touchdown. That was nice. So I like what I see from him. I think he's going to be our number 2 guy next year because I don't think Marvin Jones is going to resign. I think he's going to take Marvin Jones' spot, and I'm confident in him taking over that role.
And he said, I almost lost it when you say he's gonna be our number 2 guy.
Right, me too. I'm like number 2. What?
Like I almost lost my train of speech. I was like, wait, what?
Hey, you did. It really did pause. Like,
I didn't know.
I made a short circuit.
And he's
no.
Under contract.
I'm not saying that. I'm nothing to do with Cephas. I just feel like we got Hawkinson, and probably we have somebody else, and those 2 guys would be the first 2. But we'll see how he develops. I'll give you my evaluation. I was a little bit easier on Cephas because I was high on him coming out after I looked at his abilities. I'm like, he can run routes, he can create separation, and he's supposed to have good hands and be able to high point the ball. He showed that in flashes, but it was rough those first like 5 or 6 games. But rookies like that, though, you got to give them a chance to get used to it. And I feel like once he got used to the game, and he had I'm trying to remember what game it was. He had some easy drop, but after he had that easy drop, he didn't really do it anymore because I think the coaching staff got really hard on him for it. And to me, he was just producing with limited opportunities. It wasn't like at the end of the year we was going through Cephas a lot. He had like 4 targets or a couple targets, couple catches, but he's shown ability. Like he could be anywhere from our 3rd receiver, 2 on a great, amazing, wonderful day. But he's a good addition to the squad. You just got to pair him with some other receivers that complement each other. I would give him like a C+ type of season. But after he got better and got rid of that rustiness, he started to play a little bit better. But these deep balls, Cephas. Matthew Stafford throws an amazing deep ball. Stop messing up. Like, I'm so sick of this. Like, I'm so sick of seeing those pretty deep balls and just like, yeah, I'm pulling up. Yeah, I'm not stretching out. Don't give up on routes, but he has a lot to learn. But considering where we drafted him in the 5th round, he was solid for where we drafted him, But it was other people that I wanted, but we're not gonna get in all that.
We remember like he was a day 2 guy, like originally till all that stuff happened. Like he went to like the core issue.
All the core stuff, yeah. No, I mean, yeah, coming out of Wisconsin, his stock was pretty high, but I think he has a lot of room for improvement. I think he can be a very solid receiver. But all right, look, what's your thoughts on Quintez Cephas and why is it an F?
It's not an F. It's not an F, but it certainly is a D. It was very underwhelming.
D-.
Listen, I can make it an F, but I'm just saying, listen, he was supposed to be known as a route runner. There was times that I'm watching linebackers run with him. I'm like, why? You don't see this with Wes Walker. You don't see this with no real legitimate route running receiver. Could you imagine a linebacker running with Golden Tate? It ain't got nothing to do with speed. Footwork and technique wins every single time. And that's what made people special. That's why Chad Johnson is one of my favorite receivers. Devontae Adams is one of my favorite receivers. They ain't always the fastest. They route run. And he was being a route runner. He wasn't doing it. The draft didn't really bother me. It's a rookie season. They barely utilized their rookies like they were supposed to. Wasn't no time for them to get in rhythm. But his ability to misjudge the ball with pulling up on passes, whether they short, long, or in between, acting like he don't know he gonna get hit coming across the field. Sometimes you got to take the hit. Okay, it's coming. It was just underwhelming. I expect him to give us more, but he's supposed to be literally showing us why he's going to be the replacement to Danny Amendola in the slot. And right now, I can't say that he played better than that Danny Amendola.
I say, do not say what you about to say. No. I'm taking you gotta remember, like, look, as much as we going in down Danny, he's one of probably the greatest route runners of this era. Like, the man can run routes at his prime, and even as an older man, he can still run a route on you. So that's a little bit different. But all right, speak easy, man. What's your thoughts on Cephas, man? What do you grade this season?
If I give him like a CAF, a C as the F word, like this is a regular SC. He caught one beautiful ball, I think, from Stafford in the Bears game, was it? I think that was a Bears game. That was probably the most impressed I was with him. I don't really see much to judge here. He's just a piece that we have now. I don't think he's going to be anything formidable for the future. I think he just. I mean, I agree with Luke. You know, so I can see him taking that the Danny Amendola spot.
Yeah. No, I just had to bring him up because he is going to be one of the pieces for the future, no matter, who's at the helm throwing them the ball. But all right, guys, make sure you guys drop your comments in the chat. We got 70 people in the building. Make sure you guys like the video if you haven't already. Keenan Allen is an amazing route runner. Yes,
yep. He not fast, but he will route run you to death.
I mean, that's why I always love him. And I love how much I love D-Hop. Hey, route running is special when people are actually really good at it. Seemed like he had trouble tackling the balls this past season. Hopefully that improves. But he just had a lot of things that he got to improve on, and he looked like a rookie a lot at times. But with his opportunity that we gave him, like I'm looking at it right now with like basically. Yeah, so I'm looking at it right now. If he was targeted twice, he had 2 receptions. So basically, his catch percentage was good in some of these games. Even though it was 3 or 4 targets, he was catching the passes. It's just not no big plays. Like that. Yeah.
I was gonna say your catch percentage will look good. You only get 3 or 4 targets. He ruined himself for us. Yeah.
My thing is, you can only do what you got. Like, you getting 3 targets, catch the 3 targets. It's
his fault too. Because I'm looking game 1, he had 10 targets and only 3 catches. After that, Stafford's probably like, "Yeah, you ain't. I ain't looking your way."
He looked his way. He just didn't run the right route.
Hey, he gave up on a. People, look, you just gotta learn chemistry sometimes. Which I prefer Cephas or Donald. Well, I wanted Donovan Peoples-Jones, but didn't he get drafted in round 4?
No, he went after Cephas.
Oh, he went after. Then I'm pissed, actually.
Yeah, I remember because I was watching you guys' draft party and you guys weren't happy.
Yeah, I wanted Peoples-Jones. Yeah,
I wanted Tyler Johnson from Minnesota, who on the Bucks right now. But we're gonna leave that alone. We're gonna leave it alone.
No, it was people that we wanted, definitely. Rachel, would you rather have had Peoples-Jones, my fellow Michigan fan, go blue? We 10-0. We the best out here. I just had to say that.
I mean, to be completely honest with you, yes, and I was a homer with that thought process. Like, I obviously like to watch Peoples-Jones in college. I think I didn't really know enough about Quintez Cephas at the time, so yeah, I wanted Peoples-Jones, but here we are.
I see him in Cleveland. Like he looks good. He looks explosive. I'm like, and his role is minimized. So I'm like, man, he's a solid receiver. He's better than Cephas. But
Peoples-Jones is the reason why I made the video saying that Jeff Okudah is not worth the top 10 pick, because I saw him kill Jeff Okudah repeatedly.
Why you gotta young was Hefe didn't even ask, bro. Young Jeff didn't even ask for none of this. You trying to get healthy, man?
I'm just saying, People Jones was killing him. I mean, killing him. He was holding and grabbing. And I'm like, bruh. I'm like, if Michigan had a better QB than Shea Patterson that could deliver the ball to him,
He would have
man,
been a guy.
oh my God, Donovan Peoples, man, he had the wrong QB.
No surprise there.
No, I mean Jim Harbaugh. This is why he belongs on the Lions with a QB that he doesn't have to pick. That's just their form. We ain't gonna get into those conversations. Make sure you guys like the video. I'm looking for some more questions in the chat. If not, we'll do final thoughts. We got one question. If Justin Fields is on the board, would I take him? Yes. Hell no, I ain't taking him, dog. I ain't moving, bro. Y'all can be mad at me all you want. I'm not taking him. Everybody else.
I'm taking him.
I have question marks about Justin Fields, bro.
I'm with you, but
like, I have question marks that like a real question.
Okay, I'm with you. I can't.
Like, I have some faith in certain quarterbacks. Like obviously nobody's gonna go through my 20,000 videos and actually gonna find the video. But when Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson came out, I'm on record telling us to draft them. Those are quarterbacks I believe. Justin Fields, not saying he won't be a freaking star, but his decision making, I just like it's a lot of things I see in him that I just don't like. But that's
Dak Prescott. Justin Fields is Dak Prescott.
He reminds me so, but see, I think he's Dak with a little bit worse decision making. That's just me.
No, he is, but you gotta have the perfect system for Justin Fields to succeed. Most of these guys are system people, but he's Dak Prescott. Now Lance got some question marks too. But because the one thing about Lance is he too gussy for me. Like I don't understand why he don't know that this thing called sliding saves you.
You know, yeah, but like Ramon Nue said, Justin Fields can go through regret. Like all these quarterbacks aren't perfect, but like I said before, the only quarterback that I'm really confident in is Trevor Lawrence. Like the rest of these guys, I'm like they all projects to me. Now I could be completely wrong when let's say Zach Wilson wins Rookie of the Year. But I just like, yeah, that's me with Fields. But what else? I'm pretty sure you all would draft Fields. But what you think, Rachel?
I'm sorry. Repeat that one time.
If Justin Fields is on the board, will you select him?
Honestly, I'm kind of torn because part of me says, yeah, what a great quarterback to like let learn under Stafford for a year. And it also kind of goes with the mentality that we've talked about before, like take the talent, take the best available player on the board. So even just having said that, I just changed my answer to yes.
Okay,
you have to.
Somebody mentioned Joe Burrow. I would take him. I would have taken him. I don't know. We gonna see. It's just some of these quarterbacks this year. I think they hype is just a little bit different. You know, so we gonna see who's really really good and who really not.
You got to keep in mind they're not going to play this first year. So you know you're looking for.
If you told me the quarterback wouldn't play this first year, I still wouldn't take Fields. I'd probably take the dude from BYU.
Yeah, he ain't gonna be there. I hope he is.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you were telling me, like, I would take, like, I like the dude from BYU more than Fields. Like, I would take him. But yeah, so like, just like, hey, I just be seeing stuff in Fields and something like Fields be having them games where you had question marks on your face. Like, what were you looking at? What were you seeing? What were you doing? And you got to remember, unless we built this team, the Lions quarterback is probably gonna be coming to a trash team. So every time you see somebody do something great, say, can he do that without all that there? And I feel like, I might be biased, but Trevor Lawrence is one of them guys where, like, it really don't matter. He's going to be able to make a difference. I felt the same about Deshaun and Lamar, who I wanted us to draft. So I don't feel that way about Fields. I don't feel like Fields is this transcendent guy. And me saying all of this, he'll win Rookie of the Year and shut me up. So that's usually how it goes. Like, I believe more in Kyler Murray. Like, I like Kyler Murray, but that's just me. I'm not going in on Fields. It's just like I'm not as sold on him as those other two quarterbacks. That's just me though. But make sure you guys drop the rest of y'all questions. He said he dropped a question. I'm trying to find it.
I saw a question that says who are we all picking, whether it be the person we know or position, with that 7th pick overall.
What is above this one?
Yep, right there. Not right there. Barry Spin.
Oh yeah. What position am I drafted at 7? Front 7. Ironically, that's me. What about you, Devin?
Obviously it depends who's there. If Fields or Wilson is there, I'm gonna take one of them. But if not, I'm probably gonna go with like Micah Parsons.
Okay. What about you? Speak easy.
Number 7, you gotta take one of those running backs that are there. If not, I want the pass rusher. I want the best pass rusher at that spot.
All right. What position you drafting at 7?
Quarterback, and more quarterback. I don't think there's a defensive player worthy of a top 10 pick in this draft.
I feel that. I see that.
It probably is, but he probably not on the radar at all. I
No,
guarantee
it's some guys. It's some guys that I
It's
think are
probably
going
a
to be
guy,
phenomenal.
but they ain't on the radar. Rachel, what position are you drafting at 7?
The best available player on the board.
We can't keep doing that, Rachel. That's how we got Jeff Okuda. We can't keep
No,
doing
that's
that.
not how we. That's
No,
not
Rachel Mayhew in the building.
But see, the thing is that I don't know that many people believed that Jeff Okuda was the best available player on the board at 3. In fact, I'm pretty sure we all didn't even think he was the best available player on the board at 3. I thought this whole group was on Isaiah Simmons.
Yeah, we did. Fair enough.
I was about to say, it was a lot of people I wanted over. It was like 3 players I wanted over Okuda. So
B. Taylor says, "Luke, you tripping? Who's the defensive player worth the top 10 that's gonna come in and change this team fortunes? If you take Parsons and you make him an inside linebacker, I think you take away from what makes him special. If you take him and we're playing a 3-4 and you let them rush from that outside like jack position, then you get the maximum effort. Then that's that James Harrison aggression that you see.
If you get Marvin Lewis, he'll put him in the right spot. Yep, I said that to grind y'all gears. What do you think? What do you guys think is the most important position needed on the Lions? I'm gonna go to you, Rachel.
Oh my goodness. The defense is an absolute mess, but I really think the worst part of it, at least this season, was the linebackers. So I'm going with linebacker.
Yeah, I was just about to say the position we was just talking about, linebacker. I told y'all last season I screamed and cried and pleaded, and y'all told me I was overreacting about how terrible our linebacking core was, and that's the position I wanted. And we literally have the same problem that we have to address. Definitely the linebacker. What do you think, Luke?
It's not definitely it's the freaking safety. When's the last time we had a safety we cared about? Just go ahead, I'll wait. Who's the last safety?
Matt Patricia, man, you seen Space Jam, bro. Matt Patricia took all Tracy Walker powers, man.
I'm just saying, we need a playmaking safety. Somebody that makes quarterbacks think twice. Right now, they just unload. They don't care. They unload. The linebackers would be more secure if your safety play was better. They really would. But the safety play is hot garbage. And now the linebackers are being asked to stay in coverage longer. And the safeties, Deron Hartman, who's my new favorite guy to hate. I mean, I think I might dislike him more than Tavon Wilson. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, this guy just irritates my spirit. And I'm just saying, we need to focus on the safety. So the most important position that needs to get picked up is a damn safety. I need somebody that can patrol the middle of the field and make you think twice.
All right.
Paris Ford?
You said what now?
You like Paris Ford?
I like Paris Ford, but he a head case. But I like that head case. Like, they're my kind of guys. I want you to come in with an attitude. But my guy I like, and I know he had an injury. My guy I like is Cisco. He's a ball hawk who wants the ball, and he will hit you. That's my guy. So, if you're telling me that we trade down and get multiple picks for next year, picks for this year, and then we still walk away with Cisco, I'm good.
Okay. All right. Speak easy, man. What do you think is the most important position needed on the Lions?
I was gonna say safety. I love the idea of a safety. I feel like them in that middle linebacker spot almost plays like a quarterback role on defense, calling everything out and seeing the field and whatnot. But I do agree. I think at linebacker we're most weak. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some talent or pieces like Tracy Walker, whatnot. At the safety position that we have, the linebacker we're really weak.
All right. I know I see some more questions. I'm gonna just rapid fire these and wrap up the show. But I just want to say one thing, and I'm sorry I gotta keep twisting the needle. Wouldn't it be great if you just had a player that was just great at safety and linebacker, and you could have just drafted him? But no, now we need a safety and a linebacker. You had a guy that can play both positions, but it's cool. It's
Bruh.
cool.
This is why.
I'm not
You
even
know, you man, you're opening up wounds and putting salt in it. This is why I did not want them to let them stay for that third year, because there was no way that people who are on the hot seat are going to pick for the future. They're going to pick for right now.
No, the reason I thought about that because I'm like, we're arguing over a safety and a linebacker, and then a light bulb popped in my head. Was there the safety linebacker hybrid that we wanted? I'm like, oh, okay. Now we still have to replace him, but like, it really does hurt. Like, it really does hurt. Like, not saying that kindly because like it hurts a lot. Because we maybe we can focus on some other positions. Who do you want hired at head coach at the moment? All right, let's hear all y'all head coaches. I'm gonna start first. Marvin Lewis, weep. All right, next, Rachel.
I know that these answers, people are like, stop, and you hate it, but it's not about names to me. It's about what happens when they get here. So, I don't care. I've stayed out of the conversation because I just feel like I don't want anybody.
Okay, that means we're gonna get me as the head coach. Thank you, Rachel.
Shame mode, there it
is. All right, Devin, now you know who you want hired as the head coach, man, at the moment.
Marvin Lewis.
All right, Luke, who you want hired as the head coach at the moment?
If I want experience, it'd be Marvin Lewis. But I do agree with Rachel. Whoever can come in and understand that this is not a rebuild, but can get the job done, that's who I really want. Long as their name is not Matt or Patricia.
I agree with that. Long as you know what you have and try to build on it instead of trying to reconfigure everything. Because we've seen so many coaches in other situations, like they drop down, they reconfigure some things, they build, and then the next season afterwards they better. So, speak easy, man. Who do you want to hire that head coach at the moment?
I don't care, man. Whoever they told me was good last time, we got the best one, and he was terrible. So, like, it really don't matter. I can't call it, bro. I feel foolish too. There's so many guys who got jobs that we never thought anything of, and are actually great coaches. So I can't speak on it, man.
Yeah. Ramon is asking about Moses from Alabama. What do y'all think about him?
In the second round, he said, right?
Wait, Dylan. Wait, you talking about?
Yeah, I get him in the second round.
I wouldn't touch him. I just wouldn't touch him. He's one of the names that I had a lot of people hit me up and say do film study on, and I got through 2 games and realized that he don't give max effort. I have an issue with people who don't give max effort, y'all. I'm just be honest with you. He don't give max effort.
I think you said the same thing about Chase Young too, though.
Oh, and listen,
Rookie of the year.
Listen. If you watch him early on, even in that game against the Lions, he didn't give max effort. He gave max effort when it mattered, and I was like, okay, I guess that counts. But I want you to give max effort at all times. I want the guy that has that I don't care button like Jared Allen. And if you go back and you look at it, he got criticized in the media for not giving max effort for the Washington football team. So I still was right, but when it mattered, he did give effort. So I give him that.
Yeah, man, you was talking about greasy about Chase, man. I remember. I'm gonna have to go re-listen to say what I said.
Yeah.
We had some type of conversation about Chase that you were saying he wasn't gonna do this or that. I can't remember, but I'm gonna have to go.
No, what I said was if you bring Chase to the Lions with this coaching staff, he does not have an impact for the Lions, which is true because you got to find somebody that keeps him constantly motivated. And I said so if you telling me I'm sitting up there and Isaiah Simmons and him is there, I'm taking Simmons because I have more options with him, and I stand by that. And I told you that Chase Young just does not give max effort, and he got chewed out in the media by multiple people for not doing that in the pros. So that happened, but
maybe if we draft Chase Young, when maybe if that's him sacking Kirk Cousins, maybe they don't throw the flag.
But if be honest with you, look how they was using EG, man. They had that dude dropping in coverage like I thought he would.
Yo,
Bro, let's not. All right,
they
let's
had
not.
Trey Flowers
Like
in
we just had a
coverage a
painful
lot.
season. Let's not go back to that defense. Like that defense is the worst defense we watched since we went on 16. That's literally facts. But
Speaking of defense, I heard a lot about the Rams defense coordinator. I haven't done no research about him, but do you guys know anything about him?
no, I'm hearing that people are talking about he'll be picked up by the guy we have, but I don't know anything.
I think he's
The
like
Rams DC.
Brandon Staley or something.
Yeah, Brandon Staley or whatever, Staley, however you
A lot of
pronounce it.
people are saying that's who they want now that we got Brad Holmes.
I hope he stay away from anything over in the Rams organization. I want new blood and people with experience, man. You gotta have experience. I
wouldn't want that. I'd rather have somebody with experience. That's what I was gonna say. I don't know. But all right, y'all, we gonna wrap up the show, man.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we gonna wrap up the show. It was a good show, great show. Shout out to everybody. We got our GM now. Let's hope that our coach doesn't piss us off because I already know if it's Todd Bowles, probably the Lions fan base, and the Lions fan base was never heard from again. Like that's what you're gonna be talking about. Like once that happens, you never gonna hear from us again. Like we gonna drop off the face of the map. And if we get Marvin Lewis, we're gonna be arguing for 2 hours because fans are gonna be pissed because they hate Marvin Lewis and a lot of people like Marvin Lewis. So hopefully it's not none of those people and it's just the right person for the damn job. But all right, we're gonna do final thoughts, man. Devin99, man, the resident sub and subscriber. Mr. Brad Holmes Jr. It's like, no, all I know is he hyped up Brad Holmes before anybody was talking about him. Yeah. So thanks for coming on the show, man. Your final thoughts.
Well, first, thank you for having me on the show. Second, I'm gonna need everyone in the chat to go do some research on Marvin Lewis because whether you like it or not, I really have a feeling he's gonna be the head coach. And I think there's more behind the 0-7 playoff record. Like it's more than that. You got to look deeper into like just him being 0-7. But that's all I got.
Yeah, no doubt. Speak easy, man. What's your final thoughts for today, man?
Shit, man, not much, man. I'm the opposite of Marvin Jones, man. We'll probably get into a whole show about that, but make sure you guys. Marvin Lewis. I apologize. But shit, man, I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying? No, but go ahead, man. Guys, hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? Support DSA. Hit a subscribe on all of us, man. I'll try to hit that 1K personally. It would mean a lot to me. And shit, fellas, it's nice talking to you. By the way, again, I wasn't late this time.
Yeah. A side note: when Marvin Jones leaves, I'm gonna be hurt. Why?
Me too.
Because he was nothing but good here. So when a player pans out and they were underpaid, yes, it's gonna hurt. And he's reliable, man. I'm gonna miss Marvin Jones if he's not on this team. But that's a whole nother conversation, man. I'm gonna miss him on this team, man. I hope all the best for him. But all right, Rachel, what's your final thoughts?
Yeah, it was fun talking with you guys tonight. It's been a minute, like I said, since I've been on a round table, but when there's news to discuss, we got to hash it out, some good debates and whatnot. Definitely make sure that you subscribe to everybody's channel. Make sure you've liked this video and make sure you keep turning into the round tables. I did just put up a video with a little bit more in-depth thoughts on the Brad Holmes hire, so shameless plug, go check that out. And as always, you guys, one pride.
I did a video on Brad Holmes without any research. I was acting a fool.
No, we got Dolo Dynamite with the we got Ramona New Age with the comment of the day. Play say cool, yes. And hashtag Marvin Jones was good here. We'll drop a diss record on you. Facts. Don't play with Marvin, man. He'll drop that diss record on you quick. Hey, low key, that diss is kind of straight too. But all right. Before we get to Luke, I just want to say shout out to all of the fans, and I just hope that our fan base can try to stay on one accord and unified, even though we aren't. And I hope this is a good hire, and Sheila's bringing a new culture and a new vibe. And I hope this is a good hire, man, because if it's not, we're gonna be back in the same situation. And I hope he hires the right head coach for the team. So we'll see what happens. Lions hire GM Brad Holmes. Shout out to my black brother with the promotion. Yes, I did that. I'm happy for him. I just hope that, I need you to deliver, man. So, all right, Luke, man, what's your final thoughts?
Hey, shout out to everybody who's in the building. If y'all didn't hit that like button, please do so right now. And again, sorry I was late. Work came first, but I had to do what I had to do. Let's get into the positive side. First of all, let me go back one. I did not say Chase Young was garbage. I just said he don't give max effort. Put that out there. But um, today's positive quote comes from Nipsey Hussle, who says that the marathon continues. And it's funny because when I first heard that, I was thinking, what is he trying to get at with that? And then it dawned on me that it was clear. Everything in life is a marathon. It is not a simple sprint race to see who can get to the finish line the fastest. It's how long can you sustain that success. It's one of the reasons why we think Usain Bolt is so awesome. Yeah, he can run fast, but who's beating him? It's happening so much. Michael Phelps, who's beating him? And what I'm telling you is right now, you need to discover your own marathon. There is some things right now that you have been trying to rush that needs time to stew. And if you just take the time to enjoy the journey, maybe, just maybe, you will understand that marathon that you're running gives a greater and bigger yield. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, the marathon continues. And as always, make sure that you follow these one simple rule. Don't be no chump. Please do your research.
And I don't care if you don't like it. Sign Kenny Galladay and mess up these lines. We are out.